What's up, my friend? Abby here, and welcome back to Writer's Life Wednesdays, where we come together to help you make your story matter and make your author dreams come true. Today we are once again continuing with the 3-act story structure story beat breakdown series. You may have thought it was over, but it's not. We still have to talk about the climax of your story. Last week we talked about the most important part of your story, which is the aha moment. Check that out if you didn't see that video, and also check out all the other videos if you haven't seen them. They are linked in the description box below. I'm excited to talk about the climax, or the climactic confrontation as it's described in the 3-act story structure template. But before we get into that, I want to show you an alternative and super compelling way to have your character arrive at their aha moment. This is something that I've actually never talked about on the channel, so I'm super excited to unpack this story beat. Roll that intro and let's get started. Why does your story matter? Good question. What if I told you that there's a science behind every great story? I don't just teach you how to write. I teach you how to change the world with your story and make your author dreams come true. Before we get started, I just want to erase all of your previous conceptions about what the temptation moment is. Because I've heard this word loosely thrown around among other story structures, including the hero's journey, and not all moments of temptation are alike. In the hero's journey, moments of temptation tend to be used as tests of the hero's strength and morality, usually appearing soon after the first plot point. But we're not talking about the hero's journey. This is the 3-act story structure. And right here, right now, we are going to replace the disaster and dark moment plot point with a moment of temptation, okay? Which is going to lead your character to their aha moment. Let's read the description from the 3-act story structure, which I actually just added to my 3-act story structure template. So if you downloaded a previous version of it, if you have an old version of it, I just sent the updated version to your email. If you don't have it already, you can download the updated version in the description box below this video. Okay, temptation, the alternative to a disaster and dark moment. Instead of everything going wrong for your protagonist, everything goes right. They are given the opportunity to finally have the thing they've always wanted, the misbelief-based goal they've been chasing this whole time. But now they turn it down because after going on this transformative journey, they realize they don't want it anymore. They have found something so much better. They have found true happiness. Prompt. Ask yourself, what is the specific misbelief-based goal that my protagonist has been chasing this whole time? How is my protagonist offered the chance to finally have this thing they've always wanted? How will my protagonist prove their transformation by turning down this offer? To be honest, I love the temptation to aha moment plot device just as much as the disaster dark moment aha moment, because both can be amazing if they're written well, but you have to decide which one is best for your story. I think you most often see the temptation story beat in like lighthearted and comedic stories, but it can work just as well in a story with a more serious tone. I love having options like this because it keeps your story fresh and engaging, unpredictable, but still following that clear path of cause and effect. And sometimes it's way more satisfying for the reader to give your character a moment of temptation rather than giving them a disaster that crushes them. Because we, the readers, have been inside this character's mind, feeling their desires and conflict at every turn. We know exactly what this character wants so desperately, and now, when they finally get the chance to have it, we're like, oh my god, this is it. The moment has finally come. They finally accomplished their goal. But we, like the protagonist, are now feeling a little bit differently about this goal, now that it's finally been accomplished. After watching this character go on this transformative journey, we see that this is not what's gonna bring them true happiness. And that's when the aha moment shows up. And the sun came out when I said that. That seems way too convenient. At last, their eyes are opened and they realize, I don't want this thing anymore. Why? Because they have transformed as a result of their journey. And that is what makes your story satisfying, not an exciting plot, not beautiful literary writing, not a unique fantasy world unlike any other. What makes your story riveting, enjoyable, and memorable, what makes your story matter is your character's transformation. And the temptation story beat is a perfect way to showcase your protagonist's transformation, because we all think we know how the protagonist is going to respond to being offered the thing that they've always wanted, the thing that they've been chasing down this whole time. We think they're going to seize the opportunity with both hands, right? But they don't. And it's actually not super surprising to us, because we've had a front row seat to this character's transformative journey. We know what has led them to this decision. It's so satisfying. In fact, it would be really dissatisfying if the protagonist got this temptation moment and then they're like, oh wow, perfect, awesome, that's the thing I've always wanted, now I'm successful. We'd be over here like, because the character didn't change. Okay, so I know that all of these concepts are so much easier to wrap your head around when we have story examples to case study. So let's look at some stories that pull off the temptation to aha moment really well. First up, one of my all-time favorite classic films, Roman Holiday. In case you've missed out on this gem, Roman Holiday tells the story of European Princess Anne, who is fed up with her tightly scheduled life and longs for freedom. When Anne runs away from her country's embassy and winds up lost on the street, she meets Joe Bradley, an ambitious journalist who gives her a place to spend the night, not realizing who this girl is, until the following morning when he discovers that she is the missing Princess Anne.
Is this the princess?
Yes, Mr. Bradley, that is the princess. It isn't Annie Oakley, Dorothy L'Amour, or Madame Chiang Kai-shek.
It's the windfall of a lifetime, and Joe immediately capitalizes on it, betting $500 that he can get an exclusive story about Anne, which we spend the rest of the film watching him pull off, all the time letting Anne think he's just being a nice guy, hanging out with her all day while she makes a fool of herself.
You spent the whole day doing things I've always wanted to. Why?
No, seemed the thing to do.
But throughout the course of the day, Joe's character changes. He begins to fall for Anne, and by the time they part ways, feels deeply conflicted about exploiting her for his own benefit. This is the moment of temptation. Joe has the opportunity to sell his $5,000 story and win the $500 bet with his boss, but after getting to know Anne, he just can't bring himself to do it. That idea of success doesn't look so attractive anymore, because he is transformed as a result of his journey.
That's all there is to it. There is no story.
When he shows up at the royal press conference the next day, Anne is freaked out, as she realizes he's a reporter and has been aware of her identity all along. But Joe makes it clear to the princess that he won't be exploiting her in the press. And although the story doesn't have your typical fairy tale ending, it's satisfying because of that thing I talked about earlier. The only thing that makes your story satisfying: character transformation. Another great example of this can be found in the film Baby Boom. J.C. Wyatt, also known as the Tiger Lady, is a driven businesswoman getting after it in 1980s Manhattan. But her career plans are quickly turned upside down when a distant relative dies and leaves J.C. a very random inheritance: a baby.
Are you joking?
This is an ideal inciting incident, as it pushes J.C. way outside her comfort zone. For a while, she tries to juggle being a mom and a career woman, but eventually her life falls apart and her hopes of becoming a partner in the company are dashed.
I thought that I was going to be a partner.
Oh, swallow your pride, JC.
That's when JC decides to ditch the rat race, pack up everything, and move to Vermont, which comes with a whole host of other problems. Despite the odds, JC manages to get back on her feet by starting her own business selling baby food. Eventually, word of her success gets around to her former boss in New York, who invites JC back and offers to buy her company for millions. This is the moment of temptation. JC has the opportunity to have the job she's spent years fighting for and make a lot of money in the process, but after getting a taste of a very different kind of life, she just can't bring herself to do it.
I think I'm going to have to pass.
JC loves her adopted daughter and her new life in Vermont more than she ever thought she would. She surprises herself as much as everyone else when she turns down the offer and decides to keep her business and her lifestyle just the way it is.
I'm not the Tiger Lady anymore. I mean, I have a crib in my office and there's a mobile over my desk, and I really like that.
We see how she is transformed as a result of her journey and discovered what truly matters to her. There are so many great examples of the temptation to aha moment. Those are the two that immediately came to mind for me. But I want you to comment below and tell me what are some other great examples of the temptation to aha moment in one of your favorite stories. Okay, let's recap what we just learned about the temptation story beat. You don't need a disaster for your character to come to their senses. In fact, it could be just the opposite. Your character could be offered the very thing they've always wanted, but they realize they don't want it anymore. They have found true happiness and transformed as a result of their journey. Make it clear to your audience why your protagonist no longer finds this goal attractive. Throughout the course of the story, their goal has shifted from a definition of happiness based on their misbelief to a clear idea of what happiness actually looks like. Their character arc comes full circle as they finally see the light and grasp the truth that you set out to tell through this story. Ask yourself, what is the misbelief-based goal that my protagonist has been chasing this whole time? How can I offer my protagonist the chance to finally have this thing they've always wanted? Why will my protagonist turn down this offer and therefore prove their transformation? Okay, boom, that's it for this story beat. Make sure you grab the 3-act story structure. It's linked below. And next time we are going to talk about the climactic confrontation or the climax of your story, the final battle, the showdown, the biggest challenge that your character must face in order to prove their transformation. So stay tuned for that, and if you're from the future, the link will be right there. Smash that like button if you liked this video, and be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I post writing videos and publishing videos every single Wednesday, and I would love to have you here in the community. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon, because that's where we go beyond videos and take storytelling to the next level. The Patreon community is not only the best way to support what I'm doing here on YouTube, but it's also the only way to connect one-on-one with me and get better guidance on your story. So go to patreon.com/Abbie Emmons and check out all the awesome exclusive bonus content I have over there for you. Until next week, my friend, rock on. We'd be over here like... We'd be over here like... I'm really abusing this book, I'm sorry.